Miranda July is an American film director, screenwriter, singer, actress, author, and has many other types of work under her creative belt. She is definitely one of my favorite directors and writers in all of the universe in my eyes. The first thing I've seen of hers was Kajillionaire, which is a film about two con artists who train their daughter how to scam and steal. They have their whole world turned upside down when a stranger joins their heist. It's a really good movie. On Letterboxd, I put it as my second favorite film, but as I'm recording this, I think it's at third place now. I put Squid and the Whale second, and then 20th Century Women has to be first. Like, it's one of the best movies you'll ever see. And you can watch the video I made on that film as well in the description, or I have a little card that you can click above if you see that. After watching Kajillionaire, I was automatically drawn to all of her other films, The Future and Me and You and Everyone We Know, as well as her short films, short stories, and books. How does this woman have time to sleep? Today I'm going to be talking about her feature films and her writing process, but if you want another video on anything else that July creates, just let me know. So, Miranda July's films consist of a lot of the absurdities of life. A lot of other directors and screenwriters do this as well. I think it's honestly become more popular nowadays to kind of show that absurdity and that humor in like everyday life while keeping like a dramatic side to it. The movies that Miranda July creates are just so hard to replicate in my eyes, just because they're so unique and special. In a podcast that I watched like over a month ago, she says this. Here you go.
Often when people write about your work, they say your films are all about connection. People deeply connecting with one another. And to that characterization, you've said, that implies people are really connecting and knowing each other. But I'm not sure that's even really possible. It certainly doesn't happen in my work. Before we move forward, I want to know, Miranda, do you really feel that way?
Well, no, they do connect. So that was a lie. But I think the thing that I'm pouring my energy into is the unique ways that they, stand and they make that difficult. And so I guess when people say, your work is about connection, it's just like, maybe the last few seconds of the movie, sometimes, and often in a short story, not really, I feel like it's harder in a movie to get away with like no connection, although I think The Future does a pretty good job of that, not making that resolution happen. Anyways, I think that's my point, is like that label is very appealing, the connection one, but I don't think it fits.
In the clip that you just heard, I hope that you liked it. She talks about how her characters have trouble connecting to one another, which I really admire about her work, because it really is the reality of life. Like, a lot of people feel unheard and unseen by other people in their life, but you don't realize that you're doing the same thing to them, like they feel the same way as you. I mean, sometimes you can have those really intimate moments with someone, but usually it's a lot of miscommunication on everybody's part. I think Miranda is very good at creating those type of dynamics and those type of characters. I also enjoy how she takes just like real life and throws like little spins at it. They aren't huge things, but she makes the real life of someone just absurd. So for example, in The Future, Sophie's old shirt comes crawling back to her. If you've seen the scene, it's very, very weird. I think it's probably one of her weirdest scenes that she's ever filmed. She puts these weird things that don't tell you specifically like why it's in there. It kind of symbolizes something different to everyone that watches the films. July doesn't usually talk about the ways in which she writes her screenplays, but I did find a few articles that mention it. The articles that I mention in here will be down in the description if you want to continue reading them. So from the article entitled "I'm Terribly Ashamed If I Don't Follow Through," Film 4 has a discussion with Miranda about her creativity and productivity when crafting her films. July discusses that she has a lot of different file folders on Evernote in her computer and that she works on a lot of projects at the same time. So when she has an idea, she'll put it in the art folder or the performance folder, and that's how she's able to continue working in different mediums. I also really enjoy how she does work in those different mediums. It's very difficult to do one thing and follow it all the way through and then work on something else. For me, it's very difficult because I'm very scatterbrained. When starting to write a film, she starts with the most exciting parts first. She avoids the hard parts until they aren't even that difficult, because the hardest part about writing is physically sitting down to write it. Miranda's work means a lot to me because when I watch one of her films or read one of her books or short stories, or when I see anything else she does, it just makes me feel like I could do anything I want to do as well. Her work feels free and wild to me in a good way. She's just herself in her work, and it's incredibly inspiring. Subscribe, and I will see you later.